Chinese, Mexican dishes and British favourites, all halal. 2020 World Buffet offers you unlimited food at a set price. Open 7 days for lunch and dinner. Catering, wedding and party services available too. Call 01733 566 320 or visit 2020buffet.co.uk. 2020 World Buffet, 35 New Road, Peterborough, PE1 1FJ.
You're listening to Peterborough's community radio, Salam Radio. Salam Radio. 106.2 FM.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. You're listening to FC Peterborough Weekly, coming to you live on Salam Radio 106.2 FM. My name is Zaid and I'm your host today, and I'm joined by some fresh faces and voices. So you've got Coach Waleed and Coach Kami Khan, all the way from Kuwait. If you're wondering where the regular presenters are, well, apparently the show ratings have taken a bit of a hit, and the backroom staff made a decision to get rid of them. So, yeah, you've got myself, Waleed, and Kami. Please do engage with the show. Call in on 01733 602 133. You can text in at 074 11191062 and comment on the Facebook live stream and YouTube. So, how are you guys doing today?
Cold.
Cold.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah, yeah, good.
Good. Kami, when did you get back?
I got back yesterday. I was meant to fly in on Friday, and but unfortunately, before landing in Istanbul, there was a big storm, so our plane got diverted. So I got stuck in Istanbul for about 24 hours. Which is gutted, because I wanted to go to the Framlington game yesterday.
Okay.
That is part of my itinerary that, I wanted to get one game in.
Yeah. So you mentioned the Framlingham game, so we can get into the review of that game. So Waleed, take it away.
Yeah, it was different. Obviously, yesterday you had a team. Shaz got a few messages that a few players were unavailable. So you had Sultan, Liam drop out, and we had Seko and Liam Smith called up from reserves. So it was a different performance in the first half, putting our best players out there, and the formation that we went for was a 4-4-2. And then obviously the idea was to be in the game. Considering the scoreline last season, where we went to Framingham and lost 6-0, it was just about, can we look to him on the break, use David, Derek up top with Eamon and Atif on either channels. And then
I heard some people call it anti-football.
We just had to pay homage to Sean Dyche, David Moyes, all the footballing OGs. And then the second half, we matched them. It was, again, we changed formation, went to a 3-5-2. And Framlingham didn't know what to hit him, because for us in the second half, we were the better side. We had the better chances. You look at the first chance Abulai had, Derek, Eamon, and then then they've changed formation to a 4-3-3, so we decided to match him again. So I looked like at the moment of the game you were still a wing back, not a full back.
Yeah.
And then we scored a winner from a set piece.
Yeah, so I think starting off with the 4-4-2, we kind of gave away a lot of the ball and let them kind of have possession. And I think We defended really well, to be fair. They didn't really have any kind of clear-cut chances.
Only from our own mistakes, really, where they went through on goal.
Yeah, but again, I think maybe there was one where they had like a shot from inside the box that just went over. But other than that, I don't think they really kind of troubled too much. I mean, they were getting the ball out wide, but the crosses weren't really getting to their targets and so on. And I think really that first half kind of gave them a false sense of security because I don't think they expected the changes we made in the second. And I think they fully expected just to kind of go on and win the game. But the switch from 4-4-2 to a 3-5-2
suited us.
And
the changes, to be fair, like the changes Shaz made, and even Brave doing that at half time, putting Abulai on for Atif and putting Liam on too for David, essentially. Fresh legs. I think that was, again, credit to Seko, who started. So he had Shaz put a lot of faith in Seko, starting at right back, and he provided, obviously, assist for the winner. Liam, that was probably the best I've seen him play for the first team since his call up, considering how he plays for the reserves. So yeah, it was.
So I think they were both debuts for Seko and Liam this season for the first team, right?
Yeah.
And to be honest, both of them played sensationally, and they didn't look out of place at all. And it's kind of crazy because those are probably maybe the fifth or sixth players, let's say, to come up from the reserves. Yeah. And I don't think any one of those players has looked out of place, and they've the fit has been like perfect almost.
You look at obviously Josh Sultan. Josh Davy Sultan's a regular player, and we've had Evander play for us, who played against Pinchbeck, and obviously Liam and Seko. So yeah, it's been quite a few call-ups. Cammy,
have you been following the kind of results of the first team and reserves?
Yeah, like probably more than I mean, every weekend I'm on the group, always looking out for the results. I watch all the videos and stuff. More recently, I haven't watched many of the videos, but I'm extremely busy. I'm doing a course and stuff, so haven't had that much. I look at all the goals. Yeah, I watch all the goals and stuff, and it's every Saturday I'm just waiting for the results, because when the results come through, I'm normally at coaching, so my phone's there. But yeah, it's good to. Of course, I'm following the results finally.
Is there any kind of players that have maybe kind of stood out for you from the outside, or you've been kind of impressed with?
I think Eamon's come a long way. I mean, we always knew that he had the talent. The work rate has always been there. You know, even when he's not been performing, and this is something that I can really relate to. You know, when I played, even when the goals don't come, when the assists don't come, managers appreciate somebody who works hard, somebody who tracks back, working for the team and gives his sweat and blood. Atif, I've been really impressed with since he's come back. He's been more clinical. His decision making has been a lot better. You know, there's a player there, we know that, and it's always been a player there. But I just feel that his end product has been absolutely brilliant. You know, he's come back, his goals, assists. So those two have been for me. I think I think the goalkeeper deserves some credit. Yeah. I think he, like Shaz mentioned in one of the posts more recently, you know, Shaz went through, the goalkeeper Shaz now, he went through a very tough period early on the season, maybe at the end of last season. And, you know, unfortunately, it happens in goalkeepers to get criticised really quick. You know, they can make 5-6 saves, have good games, and then when they make a few bad mistakes, it gets, pointed out. And I think more recently he's come out showing, you know, a good quality he's got. So overall, I think definitely the team in itself is growing, and you know, inshallah, we're going to be there in the top 6 to get the promotion.
So you mentioned work rate. Just on that, Walid, was there any kind of record breaking stats from the trackers from the game yesterday? I
looked at a few that there was a lot of 10Ks being hit.
I think the two that stood out for me were Vitor and Mickey.
Yeah.
They both played centre mid. Vitor probably a bit deeper than where he would play normally. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure they hit just under 12.
It was a lot. But then, like, obviously, what Cammy's saying about Shaz, we've hit back-to-back clean sheets.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it's obviously credit to Shaz, but also the whole team, because you look at it, it seems like we just love defending. In a sense.
Who were the 3 at the back when you changed it to 3 at the back? Because I know you were struggling with centre-backs yesterday.
So it went Seko, Romeo and Mario. Because Seko has been playing centre-half for reserves too. Okay. So.
And to be fair, Mario at centre-back.
Yeah.
Wow. He's been phenomenal.
I like Mario. He's
Player.
my favourite player.
And
Because I
then,
think because he plays in the same position as I do.
yeah.
He's the only guy I know chest down at 60 yards.
Yeah, so I mean, to be fair,
All the time. I like that. I used to header them because I couldn't chest anything.
I think
down
his
60 yards.
reading of the game,
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
composure is just...
What about his composure when he dribbled all the way back to his own half
Yeah.
and gave away a corner?
And you know what? I mean, the stuff he does, it rubs off onto other players as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you remember Waleed yesterday, Romeo, when he just
We
flicked
flicked
the
the
ball
player
over
over,
the
yeah.
striker and brought it down. I mean, that was like, out of character, but yeah, phenomenal skill, to be fair. So next up for the first team is Witton United at home. So it is, we are going to get into the month of Ramadan next Saturday, and luckily for us, it's the first of four consecutive home games. So yeah, obviously I'll have a few players kind of fasting, the coaches and so on will be fasting, so it'll be interesting to see how we go on there.
Yeah. We had a good run last season when it come to Ramadan and fasting, and our home record and the games we played, so inshallah that continues.
To be fair, I think if you look at even professional football as well, over the past few years, there has been a bit of a spotlight on players that are fasting, and generally, I think the players who are fasting,
The performances.
they've been performing
really
very
well.
good. Like you got Mo Salah, you had like Pogba a few years ago and so on. But I just remember, and then I think at that time the refs like allowed to have
they
like
stopped
Ramadan breaks or
Yeah.
just break the fast and so on. And yeah, I just remember the few players that were fasting, they really were performing well. But yeah, so just moving on to the reserves. Yesterday they played Ramsey Town at home. I think it should have probably been a fairly straightforward game, but I know with a few players or a few key players moving up to the first team, I think that maybe left the squad a bit light. It did finish as a 2-0 loss. Did you catch up with anyone on that?
No, I haven't really spoke to anyone, but when I spoke to a couple of players after the game, like Liam, I mean, Snow could have scored about 5 goals. He missed a lot of chances. That's what Liam said at the end of the game. So it seems like it was one of those where either the keeper was having one of those games or we just couldn't put a ball in the back of the net.
Yeah. And so next for the reserves is Sawtry away. So another challenging game as they look to kind of get back to winning ways. I think that's maybe 2 defeats on the bounce.
Yeah, they lost to Chatteris last week.
Yeah.
And then this week is Ramsey.
So a bit of a tricky run for the reserves, but hopefully next week they'll be back to winning ways. And then next up you had the development team in action. They were playing at home against Peterborough Rangers reserves. I think the Peterborough Rangers first team didn't have a game. And they play in the Division 1, so I think normally what happens is a lot of the first team players end up dropping down. What do you know about the game, Waleed?
From what I spoke to Erkam, so I was like, let's see what he said. He was like, just couldn't finish our chances, similar to reserves. And then he was like, but anyways, defensively we did all right, but morale kept dropping the more we missed, and that led to a declining work rate. So we just let them get through easy and score goals we realistically should have conceded. Then our heads dropped, and they scored a very clean second in a matter of minutes.
Okay, and did Erkam play in at the back?
He came off the bench and played up top. Working hard, as he was saying, as he was describing to me as I was on the phone.
Am I right in saying that was his wish? He wanted to have a go and strike.
And he did. He got it. Dan gave him his wish of playing up top,
and then he repaid that favour by not scoring, not assisting. So I think
maybe Erkam, let us know. Did you get a shot away?
Erkam, if you're listening in, can you let us know if you had any shots? That would be good. We have got a comment on Facebook.
He said he was linking up really well. But that could mean anything.
Let us know. We have got a comment on Facebook from Jamal Abid. He said, listening on my drive to Brum, can't believe I missed Cammy in real life. So yeah, Assalamualaikum Jamal, and thank you for your comment. So lastly, we have got the under-18s who are in action on Thursday against Stamford under-18s.
Yeah.
That was a 2-1 loss. How did that game go?
Difficult to take, to be fair, considering the amount of chances we had. For me, honestly, we probably played for 30 minutes of the game. We let 60 of the minute the game just go by, and we showed in the last 30 what we could do, but we scored too late. And with that, you've got to win any game. like we've shown we can do, we've got to play for 90 minutes. But yeah, that was a letdown because in reality they only had two shots. Alfie's only had to make 2 saves the whole game. And yeah, so it's a tough one. But we've got to bounce back next week against Harborough Town.
So another home game, I believe. So is that next Thursday
at home
on the 27th? Harborough Town FC at home for the under-18s. Cammy, have you been monitoring like the under-18s kind of results?
Yeah.
Is there any kind of feedback or any kind of comments or any advice?
I've just been following the results. I haven't actually watched any games or just a feed in that. So it's not my. I can't really.
You have got your coaching prodigy or your little
mentee. Yeah,
I guess you could say in Safi.
Apprentice.
Apprentice.
He was good. Safi, we worked well together.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Maybe that's what's missing for the 18s. I think that should be a dream come to come back.
Is it you and?
It's the joint managers. Yeah.
So who was actually the manager back in the?
It was Safi.
It was. You think?
No, I don't know. I can't remember. But we worked well together. Honestly, like you definitely need an assistant.
Yeah.
On more than one occasion, I would. Safi would come over, or, he'd say, "Look, how about this and this?" And I honestly wouldn't be able to. I didn't see that what he was saying, and we'd change it. And this is why you need an extra pair of eyes. Because you look at things differently.
So just for background, I think you started when they were under 11s, right?
Yeah.
So in that under 11s, you had. Do you remember a few standout players?
Adel, Zach was there, but we had Danny, Portuguese lad. There was this Czech lad. I can't remember his name, but it was such a good team.
Yeah.
Azim, he was a striker. And against some of these guys, from what I know, they don't play football anymore apart from Adel. So Adel was like, when he played for the first team, it was quite a proud moment for me. And it's one of my highlights. I think somebody asked me, I think it was yourself who asked me what my favourite 3 moments. I think obviously winning the cup, Adel joining the first team, because that's what we're about. That's what FC Peterborough is about. It's, when we set this up many years ago, our aim was to get players from the academy playing in the first team. And going forward, I can see that happening. I think, I went to 2 matches today. I wanted to, if I landed on time, I would have gone for a few matches yesterday morning. I like watching academy football. And and there's a lot of young players who are going to come through and play for our first team in the next 10 years. Within the next 10 years, I can guarantee that. Yeah,
so I'm not sure if Kevin was part of the squad when you were managing, or maybe if you joined after, but he's another player that was part of that team, and Kevin's probably the star player in our development team at the moment. So it's always good to see players starting at a young age and then following the years through, and then making it to the men's setup and so on. You mentioned you were at 2 academy games. Which academy games were they?
So today I went to my nephew Jamal's game, which was the under 13s, 12s, and then went to the under 13s game later. Yeah.
Was that friendly? Was that a friendly against Spalding?
I don't know.
Ilyas, under 13s, yeah.
So we went to his. They beat Salty 4-2. It's a really good game.
That was the under 12s,
under 12s, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Really enjoyable to watch. They played some good football.
What things kind of stood out to you when you were watching that game?
I think in terms of the structure overall, the formation was quite good. They wanted to play football. The keeper, I really liked him. He was very calm on the ball, left foot, played the ball out from the back. There was a lad, Aziz, in midfield.
Ooh.
I mean, he played on his own in midfield, and they're saying this Patrick Vieira, he literally covered that whole pitch. I mean, if there was like a tracker,
he'd cover that.
There'd be like a whole red mark, and he was everywhere. And then, Aziz Zain, he scored a hat-trick.
Wow.
He come on, his first shot on goal was a goal.
Yeah.
He scored, and his second shot was a goal. And then in the second half, scored a lovely top corner penalty.
Do you think he could play first team, Waleed?
Potentially, you know what I mean? I've seen him, but I know he does boxing too.
Yeah,
so he does boxing and football, so not just one sport, which is very important.
Yeah,
there was 3 players in that team who actually did more than one sport.
This is something that's come up in previous conversations, right?
I'm very passionate about that.
A couple of players within the academy who do another sport, whether that be wrestling with Fatua or boxing with Top Yard and so on. But generally, we find that those players do kind of excel, right?
Yeah.
Multiple. I mean, players like Gary Neville and some of these guys, when they talked about when they were younger, they played cricket, and they played cricket in the summer, football. So multiple sports, because it crosses over in terms of the skill set and in terms of, body-eye coordination. Some of the other sports, they allow you can transfer those skills over to football and stuff. So it's definitely important. Wrestling, boxing, physicality, it helps you when you're playing football and stuff. So
Definitely.
Yeah, we encourage all parents to get your kids into multiple sports and stuff.
Definitely. So if you're listening in, you heard some top advice from Cammy right there. If there's any parents listening, get your children doing multiple sports. So whether that's football with FC Peterborough, boxing with Top Yard, or wrestling with Fedora, just get them involved, and you'll definitely see the benefits both within the sports and outside the sport, just in life, personal. Yeah, definitely. So we've got a comment from Jamzi on Facebook. Assalamu alaikum, guys. Make sure you don't go lightly on Cammy Khan. Welcome, salam, Jamzi. Hope you're okay. And then you mentioned you also watched the under-13s game.
Yeah.
Arias's team.
I left, it was 2-1. They were struggling a little bit in terms of physicality. Technically, the players, there was a lot of good players and stuff. I think where they struggled in the first 20 minutes that we watched was the physicality. I mean, one of the other team's players, he was as tall as me.
Okay.
And physically the other team was just a lot more stronger and dominated the physical side of the game, which I always struggled with. We went up 1-0, and then it's 2-1, and then it got a bit cold for me.
Okay.
I had to leave. It is.
Was there any similarities between the two teams that you noticed, or in terms of the playing styles and so on, or?
No. I think the Ilyas's team, they were missing. I spoke to Rizzi later on. He said they were missing a lot of players and stuff. The warm-up was quite good. I thought, okay, and I spoke to Jamal, my nephew, before the game, and said, these guys, this is a good team.
Yeah.
They're doing really well.
Yeah.
So this is one of the reasons we stayed and wanted to watch the game. So in terms of, they want to play football, and this is what I like. The two academy games I watched today, both teams want to play football. It's not we're going to hoof it 30 yards, and this is good. If they learn this from a young age, by the time they get to the first team or reserve, the development team, it's already
embedded
in them. So it's a lot easier for them to. So this is how we want to play. This is the philosophy for FC Peterborough. So that's something that I found very common and stuff. But in terms of the size and physicality, I find out that our players are just smaller than everybody else's.
Going on that, obviously, I don't know, Cam, if you've seen the changes the FA want to make. You talk about, obviously, physically that the teams are. So under 13 soon will be a 9-a-side instead of going to 11-a-side. How do you think probably the changes the FA are making, going 3v3, 5v5 for a couple of years, 7v7 for a couple of years, 9v9, and then 11-a-side? How do you think that probably impact our players?
If you look at Europe don't start playing 11-a-side till a lot later.
Yeah,
on,
under 15s.
Right? They're like these small-sided games. Because small-sided games is more compact. It's more technically. If you look at players in Spain, and technically they're
really
way
good.
ahead
Yeah.
The team number 19th in La Liga, technically they're probably as good or close to teams at the top of the Premier League in terms of football style. I mean, I'm not saying they'll beat the top teams, but in terms of physical style and stuff, because they play a lot more of these smaller sided games. So when I'm at AC Milan in Kuwait, so we have a technical director who's an ex-professional. His name's Claudio Zola. So he, in terms of their philosophy, is quite similar, where there's a lot more small-sided games, and they don't encourage 11-a-side football till a bit later on and stuff. So I can see the benefits and how that would pan out. I mean, I can't see it being a negative in terms of. But it has to be across the whole grass.
Yeah.
So they're going to start doing 11-a-side from.
So that's starting in 2 years' time, where 3v3 comes in.
Yeah. Can you just give us a little bit of an overview of what that is for anyone who isn't aware?
So with that, so there's going to be a lot of changes happening. So obviously there was a lot of backlash because there was not a lot of information.
Who's making these changes?
So the FA are making these changes, and I think they want to focus more on technical players. So we were the only country that done 11-a-side at under 13s, whereas like Cammy spoke about, a lot of European, it was more under 14s, under 15s. So with this, obviously it helped to bring more technical players out there, and get those. We'll talk about fundamentals or even the full corner model broaden on our players. So obviously with that, you need your coaches to go into the road. So a 3v3 starting a couple of years.
When you say 3v3, what does that mean?
So there'll be no goalkeepers.
Yeah.
And it's all about just players getting a lot of ball time. And that's the most important thing, because when it comes to let's say you're playing five-a-side and the manager, for example, the coach brings 4 players, the ball time for each of those players is not going to be really high. Whereas with a 3v3, and let's say you're only bringing 1 sub or two subs, every player's going to get a lot of ball time, and especially because there's no goalkeeper, there's no one just standing still. And then hopefully that'll embed to a 5v5. So with us, I think with FCP, we're very different, because our goalkeepers, we give them time on the football pitch. So we normally have, like, I'll use Ibi's team as an example. He has 2 goalkeepers. That's similar within the nines when I'm with Wakan Ayman. So everyone's getting the fundamentals to play on the pitch, but also know how to play in goal. So yeah, I think that's what the FA are trying to do. Next, when it comes to 11-a-side, they're going to have players who know how to play in 3-4 different positions, which again we kind of do at FC Peterborough anyway.
Yeah, it's encouraged anyway to, when from a young age to try multiple positions and stuff, and then as you grow, you'll sort of find where you sort of fit into the. I definitely think it's better. I mean, from my own example, I played when I first started playing men's football at 17, I played right back for 2 years. And it's probably the best 2 years in terms of my development, because when you're right back, you're looking at the pitch. Yeah. Everything's in front of you. And when you receive the ball, you receive it in a lot more space, you have more time, and you're looking up. And it really helped me as a player in terms of, whereas if you're playing higher up, a lot of times you've got your back to goal, or, you're in very tight spaces where you have to, so it helped me in terms of development. And then, I was never a right back. I always wanted to play midfield, but I was too...
I know the feeling, Cammy.
I was going to say, Cammy, someone, you said you started... I was going to say, you started to start your career, someone started at the end of their career.
No, what do you mean?
Sorry, not end of career.
Wow.
Yeah, not end of the career, sorry. Later.
I dominate the game from right back. So.
Cammy, you mentioned right back and centre mid. I think, which other positions did you play on the pitch?
So I played striker for about nearly 10 years.
So was striker your main kind of...
So when I went to... I played right back for Glaston Park for 2 years. Image and all the guys were playing. And then when AK11 was set, I wanted to play midfield, but I couldn't get in. So the manager put me as a striker. So I played like nearly 8 years as a striker. I got like pretty much 20 goals every season, like tap-ins. But because I had my...
That's a proper striker.
No, yeah, literally. Like, I was talking to Jamal this morning, I said, look, gamble. Yeah. One of the things our coaches always said is gamble. Always anticipate that the defender's going to lose the ball, the keeper's going to spill it, or it's going to go into this space. And I think the right back helped me, because I should slide tackle defenders. They're like, what's this guy doing? Like,
that's fine, Cammy. I think we're just about to go into a little ad break, and we'll touch more on this later.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
It's healthy, nutritional and halal. It's The Lads, your first choice for burgers, pittas, wraps and flame grilled lamb chops and peri-peri chicken. Now with 5 fantastic new flavours, plus sides, grilled salads and milkshakes too. Open daily from 11:30 until 11 p.m. Call in at 15 Cowgate in Peterborough. Order for collection online at thelads.co.uk or by calling Peterborough 562287 or place your Lads delivery order at ubereats.co.uk.
Whether you're eating in or ordering for collection or delivery, Big Mouth at 349 Lincoln Road in Peterborough is the place for all the family favourites you know and love. But now it's even better, as loaded fries, grilled and smashed burgers, peri-peri strips and wings have been added to Big Mouth's mouth-watering menu of pizzas, chicken and so much more. Call in today, order for delivery via Uber Eats or call 01733 201020. Big Mouth's open 11 till 2, 7 days a week.
There's simply a variety of choice at Chicken Valley, 318 Lincoln Road. And we don't just mean whether you dine in or order for takeaway or delivery. With halal dishes including peri-peri chicken, wings, strips and wraps, Korean burgers, sides, milkshakes and so much more. You'll have to experience Chicken Valley again and again and again. Open 11 a.m. until late, every day of the week. Order delivery via Just Eat, Uber or Food Hub. Or for collection, call Chicken Valley on 01733 564 053.
Attention foodies! Discover a world of flavours at Pack Foods, the largest ethnic supermarket in Peterborough. Shop our vast selection of authentic ingredients from around the globe, including spices, marinated fish and meats, and exotic fruits at incredibly low prices. And the best part? We offer free parking. No more hunting for a spot. Come visit us today and explore the incredible range of flavours at Pack Foods, 232 Lincoln Road.
Mirage Wedding and Catering Services have everything to make your special day, party or celebration one to remember for all the right reasons. As well as quality catering, freshly made with seasonal produce, Mirage supplies stages, lighting and house lights, decor and marquees, Chivari chairs and table hire, attentive staff, supercars and so much more. Call 07860 125 092 or visit mirageweddingsuk.com. Also across all social media. Mirage, making every wedding better.
You're listening to Peterborough's community radio, Salam Radio. Salam Radio. 106.2 FM.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to FC Peterborough Weekly. My name is Zayed and I'm your host for today. And I'm joined by Coach Waleed and Cami Khan. So just before the break, we were given the normal kind of match updates and we had a good conversation going. For this half of the show, we're going to get more in depth with Cami, more of an interview. So for those of you who don't know Cami, Cami is one of the founding members of FC Peterborough. He's made well over 50 appearances for the club, scored the winning goal in our 2014-15 Cup final. Instrumental in setting up the FC Peterborough Academy. I mean, he led the first ever Academy session and just a club legend, really. So... yeah, Cami, you currently live in Kuwait. How long have you been there? What do you do there?
So I've been in Kuwait for nearly 9 years now. I'm a teacher in a British school. I'm a primary school teacher. And I also coach there. I've been coaching at the AC Milan Academy for nearly 8 years, which is an official academy from AC Milan. All the head coaches, technical directors are AC Milan coaches, ex-professional footballers. So it's really good for me to work with him. I think there's a new coach who come last week. He's a UEFA A, and he was an ex-professional footballer. I mean, working quite close. They actually put in my assistant. I'm like, okay, you know, he's only a temporary, so he wanted to work so he's working with a few coaches, and I said I want him with me. But I wanted him with me so I can learn from him too. So he's been running some of my sessions. So yeah.
Why do you coach, Cami?
Why do I coach? I mean, those who know me know I've been passionate about football for years, you know. And when I was playing, at the back end of my career, I started. So I did my first coaching badges about 14 years ago, my level 1, while I was still playing. And I always wanted to get into coaching. After I hung up my boots, I always wanted to be, a coach. And yeah, I have a passion for football, you know.
Yeah, and you mentioned the chap coaching with you is currently UEFA A qualified. Are you qualified by UEFA at the moment?
Yeah, I'm UEFA B qualified. I've completed my coaching badge last year. I've also got my youth modules level 1, 2 and 3. So my first coaching course was about 14 years ago. So I mean, and I coached the men's team for a little while, but I think one of the things I regretted is not being part of this setup here. The coaching in Kuwait is good, but obviously coaching a semi-pro men's team is, different.
Yeah.
So.
I think going on to that, a question I wanted to ask was, obviously, when was the year you started coaching? Obviously, or when did Shaz ask you to come on board, or was it where did you come before Shaz in the coaching aspect?
No, so I was playing for Netherton when I did my coaching badges, and then I coached Netherton first team.
Okay.
Sorry,
Cami, I think we have got a caller on the line. Aslani, yeah, Aslani, can you hear us?
Assalamualaikum. How's everyone?
Walaikum salam, all good. I think this is the chairman on the line, if I'm not mistaken.
How you doing? You okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay, can you hear us?
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Very good. I just got a headset on and I couldn't hear you guys properly. How are you guys doing? Very good show today.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so we've got the chairman on the line. Have you got a question for Cami?
I have got a question, yeah, for Cami especially and Waleed. One thing I've started realizing, especially in the last sort of 18 months, is technical base of footballing is actually improving. Everybody's going down to the more technical side of playing football. But what's happening is we're losing the skillful element out. So the skillful players, the players are prepared to run away from prepared to run past players and stuff. Those sort of players, are not as important nowadays. So would they agree with that, or would our panel think that is something that they're looking to change in the future, or is that the route we're going down now?
I think for me, it depends on the system and the manager, because there's obviously a lot of things with system players. I don't think you'll ever see a player like Neymar anymore. That's my personal opinion, because he's got that unpredictability. He's a street footballer, and a lot of times, as I'm gonna use myself. When I was younger, I'm sure Zai and Kami probably say the same thing. We were outside playing football in the streets, muggers, monkey cages, as Ozil used to call them back in Germany. Those are the reasons why the players like Neymar, because they're Brazilian. I don't think you'd probably lose in the Brazilian aspect, but more in the aspects of who the manager is going to be or what team they decide to join. But I don't think you'll ever see that in English football. But again, that's my opinion, Kami.
I totally agree with you, Waleed. And also, just to add something, one of the reasons is that because we're getting a right foot is playing on the left foot was playing on the right, naturally they're going to cut in. Whereas in the past, when we had the Ryan Giggs and the Beckhams, they always went on the outside, right? So they always beat their man on the outside. And today, I was talking to when Jamal was playing on the right wing today, my nephew, when I went to watch, and me and Hamad came to the game and Georgia was there. And we spoke about it. We're saying run past your man down the line, because that's where the space was. So you had the left back, and in behind the left back, there was a good 30 yards of space. So it's like kick it past the guy and get past him. And every time the wingers got the ball, they stopped and came back inside, where it was congested and with the people there. So I'm not sure whether this is, especially if it's a left footer or right footer, they're naturally going to come in. I think there's a place for that. And then when they come in, the fullback overlap. So I think because of the way it is, and I think that a lot of young players, they watch these, when they watch football matches, they watch these guys do it and they just copy and imitate what they see, like people diving like Neymar. It's just imitation and stuff. So I think
Sorry, Cami, I'm going to have to step in. We can't have any Neymar slander on this show. So if you could just please retract that statement.
Okay, Salah. So diving like Salah.
That's better.
We can't be doing so. So it's like, I'm not sure what it is, whether it's a tactical thing. I think it's because of the left foot, right foot thing. And, wingers not attacking their man on the outside. So.
But what I'm finding is, the players that are prepared to run past players, we're losing that in the game. And I think maybe the system that, a lot of the professional clubs are looking to play is more, let the ball do the work rather than yourself. Yeah. So I think the question I'm trying to get to is, I think it's going to come about in another 15 years time, 10 years time, when they go back to having the skillful players against. But right now, we're not, the players like the Gascoignes, the George Bests, these type of footballers are thing of the past. The Letizier's,
Sorry, who did you just mention? I'm joking.
I mean, this is the thing.
Arif was a winger on the left, and he's left-footed, played on the left, and he was one of those who beat his man on the outside every time. So I think he's really upset that he's not finding those kind of players anymore.
So you're saying he was like very similar to Ryan Giggs?
Not very similar. He's actually,
Ryan Giggs. I mean, yeah, exactly.
In many ways.
Yeah. I was more like Ryan Giggs, just run past players. But
everybody heard that. A Liverpool fan admitting to that he was more like Ryan Giggs than any.
Never liked him while he was playing. Never enjoyed him as a footballer, but certainly watched him.
That's fine. Thank you very much for calling into the show. We appreciate it.
No problem. You take care. Have a good show, guys. Yeah.
You too.
Lovely to see Cammy on it as well.
Yeah. So just on that, I think modern day managers. Well, I guess it depends on the manager, but you got like Pep Guardiola, Arteta, who are very like controlling and system based, and I guess a perfect example is someone like Jack Grealish. Whether you think he's a good player or not, I mean, at Aston Villa he had like a lot of freedom to do pretty much whatever he wanted to do, whereas at Man City he looks like a shadow of the player he was or is, and it's just pretty much sideways passing and.
Systems make players, if you look at United, they signed players. They brought Sancho in, who was a terrific player at Dortmund. Got 15 goals and assists for about 2-3 seasons.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, this is why data is important in terms of when you're signing a player. It has to fit into a system and that, right? And unfortunately, United seem to buy too many players, which just he's a name. Let's bring him in and see if he can fit into the kind of system that we want to play. Whereas City, when they buy players, they know the way the manager wants to play, and he has to fit into that system. It's rigid. It is how it is. And I think now this season, I think he's proving that he has to adapt and change how he normally plays. I think with the players he signed now, they're not typical Pep kind of players. From historically.
So, Uli, just a question for you on that. So at FC Peterborough, so you're involved with the first team, the under-18s, and the academy as well. Yeah. Do you kind of try to play a certain way, or is it, let's say, some of the kind of men's team under-18s, do you kind of play according to the player types you have?
So I think for us, it's no matter what players we have, we're going to play like the first team. I think that's the main thing, because as a club, so we spoke about coming bought City, and I think we see their plan was Pep Guardiola. Once they got Pep Guardiola, that's their way of playing. So this academy most likely probably plays out from the back, that kind of way of football. We talk about things going out of fashion. 4-4-2 is out of fashion, but you look at teams pressing now, it's a 4-2-4, and that's going to back. You look at how City played against Chelsea. They played direct, especially in the second half. Ederson went long to Haaland, and we played off Haaland there. So, it depends on how people perceive football, and there's no wrong way of looking at it. If people like direct football and want to win the first, second, and play off the striker, that's how it's going to go. But it's also relating to the game situations. For myself, I think even the academy-wise, FC Peterborough's identity is playing technically, not going long, using always the ball's got to be on the ground, playing out from the back, looking to invite pressure and play around that, inviting combinations on. I think that's the FC Peterborough way, and that's what we do in the first team. That's what we do the 18s, and with the academies going down.
Cammy, so just what Willie described there, is that what you saw from the academy teams you watched today?
Yeah, so when you asked me in terms of what similarities, see, that's what I saw. I said I saw two different teams of two age groups wanting to play football, and that's evident in terms of from what I've seen and what I hear. I'm on some of the groups and stuff, and I read the chitter chatter. I like to stay in touch. I want to be part of it. Even though I'm not here, I feel like I'm part of the club. And that's, for me, it's important because it is our club. It's our community club. It's something that we should be really proud of, and something that we all should put our effort into, to grow it as much as possible.
So now looking at, so obviously, again, just going back to these games you watched today and knowing what you know about the kind of academy and so on. So you obviously led the first ever academy session. How does that make you feel that you were involved from like the very start, and just seeing that growth and seeing where the kind of club and the academy is at today? How does that make you feel?
Alhamdulillah, all the people who were involved in it, they had good intention in why they wanted to be part of this, why they wanted to set up a football club. And it's reaping its fruit today. Of course, I'm proud of being, me along with Flakey, we were in the first training session. There's only 11, 12 kids at college. And then going from that, I was quite new as well. I've just finished my level 2, I think. And so for me, it was quite new as well. I was on my own. At that level, I should be expected to be with somebody and learn. I didn't really learn from anybody. I did the courses, and then what I learned, I tried to implement it in the coaching and stuff. So it was a proud moment. And seeing the academies today, I really enjoy watching kids football.
Yeah.
The unpredictability and the way the players are, it's really enjoyable. In the match I went to this morning, was really 1 hour. It was, I think, 30 minutes each way. 20 minutes.
It'll be 20, 25.
Yeah,
25.
And it was like really entertaining. Got to see lots of goals and a hat trick from a guy who turned up on the pitch with a woolly hat on, and then he scored with his first shot and goal. He said, "You can keep it on, mate." And then he scored a hat trick. He said, "You can definitely keep your woolly hat on."
He's not washing it anymore.
Yeah,
he's not washing it anymore. Yeah, sleeping in it too.
Cami, what's the most rewarding part about being a coach?
Just seeing kids develop. It's the same thing as a teacher. When I get a class in September, and I see, I always measure their heights, and I'll put them on a white sheet of paper on my door. I measure all their heights on the first week, and then and then it's like seeing them grow and develop into these, kids who came to me nearly a year ago. Same thing with coaching. Teaching and coaching have a lot of cross similarities in terms of skills and stuff. It's always seeing the kid develop. When you see, and when you put your effort and time and effort into a team, and you see it develop, right? You can think, what? Yeah, that was worth the.
That's good. And I think, what values does a coach need to have to be kind of successful? What are the kind of personality traits that they need to be a successful coach?
You've got to be a good role model. You've got to lead by example. You've got to be honest and upright and firm but fair. And the players have to respect you. But respect is a both-way thing. So something that I used to do quite a lot was that every player, whenever they came to training, they had to shake the coach's hand. And when they left, they had to shake the coach's hand. This is something I picked up from a friend of mine who owns YDP.
Okay.
So we went a coaching course together, and I said to him, because he was in the academy, I think Posh Academy. I said,
Steely. Is it Luke Steele?
No,
Kennedy? Luke Kennedy.
Luke Kennedy, yeah. And he said, look, this was something that, and respect, is something really important. The players need to know.
Coach Lee, do you have any kind of values to add to that? Or?
I think for me, it's the work rate, honestly, making sure you give 110% in. Discipline, but also the willingness to listen, willingness to learn. I think for me, when it comes to players, you have to use their own autonomy. You've got to be like, your own learnings in your own hand. I'm always there to help. I'm always there to support. Like, for example, when you record videos, as much as I'll clip down the game, can it be you're dropping me a message and be like, I've done this well, but what can I do more? Or, for example, I want to train with the first team. What more do I need to do? Or how can I get there? That is that willingness to learn, going to develop. I'll use the example on Thursday to my own players. I'm like, for example, for me to be where I am 3 years ago, I wasn't lucky. I obviously probably potentially played a part, but it was working hard. I took every opportunity as it came. Vice versa to you guys. The moment you get the opportunity to train with the reserves, development, first team, take it, because you never know. Once you get called regularly back, you're going to get signed up. And if a player, for example, isn't available, Shaz will give you that opportunity, and you've got to take it with both hands, because you never know. You could always be playing with the first team from then, from that moment. Question I had for Cami, to be fair, was your coaching style, your coaching behaviour. How would you describe that?
I have a philosophy, like mine is hard. Like, so when I wasn't that talented, right? But I worked hard. I worked harder than every player on that pitch. For me, that's the most important thing, So my own coaching philosophy is that you got to work hard. You've got to put the effort in to get the success. Without that, it can never happen. Yeah. Ronaldo talks about it. Safi told me to say that. Ronaldo talks about it. If you look at, he's 40 years old. He's fit as anything. But many people who at Man United who played with the guy and said he always turned up first, always left last. And this is Cristiano Ronaldo. Even to this day, he's still doing the same thing. Because his standards didn't drop. You've got to have high standards and stuff. So for me, like you just said, I believe, you can give the advice, you can give the guidance, you can coach these. But at the end of the day, it is up to the player to take that in. Right? Because coaches, we're like traffic wardens. We're sort of, moving
Guiding,
people on,
yeah.
right? Guiding. And it's up to the guy. If the guy, is driving and crashes into the red light, we told him to go this way. But it is that, that's what we can't, you put the training out, you work hard, I'm sure we're leading these guys up. I know they are putting these, along with Amar and Shahs, they're putting these sessions together, they're expecting players to come. Now, if they put a session together for 16 players and only 8 turn up, that's a lack of commitment. And that's something, as a coach, for me, I would never accept. So what I do, and I know Shaz does it, I know you guys do it, I put a message out 2 days before training in Kuwait, and I say to who's available. And I say, okay, there's 12 people, and I'm expecting 12 people to turn up, because the session I've planned is for 12 people.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So the commitment has to come from the players, because I know the coaches, behind the scenes, I know they're putting the commitment in. And without that, you cannot achieve anything.
Yeah. So, Camille, you got your nephews listening in. If you had some advice to give anyone in the academy, or your nephews specifically, what would it be? Well,
Jamala gave some advice this morning, don't be lazy. Right? He's not going to like it. But it's about putting the work in, right? It's not going to come to you. They've got a nice house. They've got a nice garden. There's 2 of them. Get some cones, practice. You can't just expect to go to the training twice a week for 1 hour and expect to become really good players. You have to put the time and effort in away from, get off the gadgets, get off the phones, get off the iPads, get off TV. Like Willie said, when we were young, and I know Zaid, we played football for many years together. What we do, play on the streets.
Yeah.
We constantly hardly ever watch TV. So a lot of these kids, they don't take football as serious as, they want to be good players, but they don't take it serious. My own sons do that. They're like, yeah, we want to be good players. I'm like, yeah, you're not as good as I was that age. And I never went to an academy. We played on the streets. These guys are fortunate that they have something like FC Peterborough. I think me and Zaid would probably made it professional if we had FC Peterborough.
Yeah, no, so to be fair,
from a young age.
This is like something I always say, is that having these players in the academy and so on, just by them playing week in, week out, they're going to take football within the community to a next level, and they're going to be far better than anyone we've had in the community before.
And even like I say, your best friend could be a wall, like Woolsies, you know what I mean? Just receiving that ball in your back foot, just pinging it, and think those are small things. Like even when I used to play with my brother or cousin, we used to do Woolsey by one touch. You hit it, even if the ball goes all the way to the side, you have to try and ping that ball to hit the wall. So those are.
I know you're an Arsenal fan, no, I'm not going to make fun of it. Dennis Bergkamp, in his biography, he actually said this. So one of the things he said, that what he should do, and I encourage my players in Kuwait and my nephews as well, and anybody who's listening out there, the Woolsies is absolutely brilliant for many reasons. Okay, so what he said, Dennis Bergkamp in his book, was that when he kicks the ball at a wall, it comes back at a different speed, different angle. So body coordination, so you have to react, right? Left foot, right foot, and then you're reacting, and it speeds your mind up. And come on, those of us who've seen Dennis Bergkamp, his mind was way ahead of everybody else. He had probably 2 steps in his yard, 2 steps ahead, he should think in his head. And he should did that, as a child, he did that 10, 15 minutes every single day.
Yeah.
Just watched his goal against Newcastle, I believe in 98, was it 98?
Yeah, look, Dennis Bergkamp was a joy to watch. A lot of these Dutch players, covert coaching, I know Ibby's really big on ball mastery, and I was as well, and I've done 2 courses with covert coaching. Ball mastery, you can do that stuff at home. Go to YouTube, type in ball mastery, covert coaching, and they'll give you step 1, step 2, step 3. This is things that kids could do at home. They can spend 10 minutes every single day. I have a nephew, I'm just going to quickly mention this. My wife's sister's son in Wolverhampton, he's about 20, 21 now. He plays semi-pro there. I wanted to get him to FC Peterborough, but travel and so that. At the age of 14, he didn't play football. Okay, wow. I had to go visit him, never talked about football. Gone there 1 year, he's got into football now, and he's about 14, 15 now. He started going to this local club, then told him to do covert coaching. He did covert coaching for 1 whole year, 3 times a week. I went back when he was 16. This guy, phenomenal first, second touch, dribbling, he's 2-footed, plays in the wing. He's 21 now, he's built as a footballer. He's got, and he's been playing semi-pro for about 2-3 years. And he started at the age of 15. But 1 year of covert coaching, elevated his skill set and, became, hopefully he'll go further.
Definitely. Waleed,
I think that shows effort.
You might as well get onto the covert coaching and...
no, I think I was reading Twitter when the 3v3 come out, and there's Lee Cosgrove. He's one, he goes about PSV. He's always tweeting about PSV. He coaches at Harbour. And he's mentioned that cover coaching, probably now is your time to like go into cover, like do research and stuff.
Japanese footballers, you see Japanese football, they're really technically good.
Look at Matoma.
Right? Yeah, but they're technically really good. Yeah, they have this Swedish guy who created the cover coaching. I can't remember his name now. Yeah, he went to Japan, spent many years there. Working with academies over there. If you look at Belgium, Holland is cover coach is really big in Holland. If you look at the centre backs in Dutch football, they're known to be playing out from the back from this is the Dutch way of playing. So I think it's really important. I know EB really believes in this.
Yeah.
And I know he's been doing it with his own kids, and I know the academy is something that it happens across different age groups.
Yeah, so we are coming towards the end of the show. I did have a quiz prepared where you were both going to go head to head, but I think we'll probably skip that and do that another time.
We're having too much fun.
Yeah, but I think one of the things that came up earlier on in the show is about like technical footballers in Spain and England and so on. So one of the conversations I was having with someone is about La Liga and the Premier League and which is the stronger league. So I'm going to come to Cami first. I want to hear your opinion on it. I'll come to Waleed and then... yeah, we'll wrap up the show. So, Cami?
So, I watch a lot of football because that's all I do in Kuwait, all my spare time. And I have BN Sports, and they show like everything. They have like 10 games on at the same time. So I watch a lot of La Liga. I think technically it's way ahead of the Premier League. You could watch 17 worse than 18 in like Liga, and you'll see good football, playing out from the back and they're trying to play. I enjoy that more than watching somebody keep booting it up like 50, 60 yards and... Although I'm going to say that this year, to me and Waleed off air, we spoke about how like the likes of Brighton and Bournemouth, they're playing good football. And then he pointed out to me, well, they have got foreign coaches, that Iriola's there, and he's got Basque influence. So
I think that's massive in having that. It's like you look at the foreign coaches. That's the reason why the Premier League's getting better. Sally's not coming from English coaches, whereas the closest one I'll probably put to that is Eddie Howe and Graham Potter. But Graham Potter got his experience from Sweden, where he got you look at Brighton's man from Germany. Obviously, you look at the two, Arteta and Pep Guardiola, Spanish. Even around the world, Xabi Alonso, Basque, Spanish, Areola, Spanish. I think that's the massive influence because it all comes from technical players, and so that's the philosophy.
Both agreeing it's La Liga.
Yeah, right? I'll go Premier League, but La Liga.
So I mean, I was going to say La Liga because, pretty much for all the points you guys mentioned, but then the guys I was speaking to, they brought up like a league table and it was actually like Premier League ranked highest. But anyway, it's the end of the show. Cami, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Waleed, thank you. Thank you guys for listening.